Welcome, people of the internet and YouTube, just like that gaming, back with another gameplay commentary for you guys from Black Ops 3. If you hear heavy breathing in the background, that is my dog just being annoying and being a nuisance. Go to bed, Roxy. It's bedtime. Don't look at me weirdly. It's bedtime. Yes, that's right. It's bedtime. Go to sleep. Nonetheless, let's get started in today's commentary. As you can see on screen, I'm playing Call of Duty, but I really wish this was a Titanfall gameplay for you guys just because I love Titanfall. I loved the first Titanfall, and the entire video today is going to talk about Titanfall 2 and their release at E3 and all these new things that are coming out, and I'm super excited for Titanfall 2. But before we get there, the reason why there's no Titanfall gameplay is because I actually uninstalled it on my Xbox One to make room for other games. And because I bought Titanfall with my system, I'm working really hard to try and re-download it. And I was like, I want to just make this video because I need to get it out because I don't know when I'm going to have time again to make the content for this video. So I do apologize that this gameplay isn't from Titanfall. Now, with that disclaimer out of the way, let's talk about Titanfall 1. Now, Titanfall made me buy the Xbox One. Why? I was super excited because it was Respawn Entertainment. I was super excited because it was going to be a new first-person shooter that looked different, was awesome. And let's be honest, I was not disappointed by anything. A lot of people talked about lack of content, and yeah, okay, it was there, but for me, it fulfilled everything I wanted it to fulfill. Was fun, fast-paced, enjoyable, and was something different. The fact that it included the mechs, and the fact that the mechs were earned by doing certain, by killing people faster, by using certain burn cards. There was strategy to it, but the thing was the maps were properly designed, the gameplay flowed properly, and I really loved the way they integrated the minions into the gameplay. I know that some people were frustrated with that, but for me, it was nice. It was nice that I always had something to shoot at, regardless if it was a pilot, a mech, or a Titan, I guess is what they were called, or a minion. I always had something to shoot at, which was nice. I found the game to be challenging to start with. I found it to be challenging when I got back into the game. And that's fun. It's nice to re-hit that learning curve. I never felt that I was super good at the game. I always felt like I was doing good enough to succeed, but never was amazing at the game, which was a nice feeling. And being in a Titan was a lot of fun, taking on other pilots or even just taking on another Titan. It just felt like a unique experience every time I went into it. That being said, I did have gripes with the original Titanfall. No story. I felt that at times it felt that it was a very one-dimensional game. There wasn't a ton of variety in what weapons there were. And it seems that with what I've seen from Titanfall 2, what I've heard from it, is those things are addressed. And the great thing about Titanfall 2, which I'm really excited for, is the new movement system that they're incorporating. It's going to be the same, but with a grapple hook. It looks like it's a little bit slower, which is nice. And I'll be honest, I think Respawn Entertainment hit it out of the park with their map design. I think they did such a good job in Titanfall 1 with the way they designed the maps, with the movement with Titans, along with the way it moved for pilots. It was very balanced, and I think they're going to incorporate that again from what I've seen in Titanfall 2. And I'm very excited for that because of that reason. There's a lot of things that make me excited for Titanfall 2. Not just the fact that they're releasing a sequel to a game that I really enjoyed that made me buy a console, but also for the fact that it's going to bring me something different in 2017. We have Battlefield 1, which is going to be a back to World War I shooter. We have Infinite Warfare, which is a space shooter, and then we have Titanfall, which is just what it is, right? Titanfall knows what it is. It knows its market and it knows who it's applying to. It's not going to absolutely destroy Call of Duty. It's not going to be a competitor with Battlefield Call of Duty. It's there to be something in a niche market that achieves what it wants to achieve. And for me, that's perfect because it'll bring in some new people, but it'll also bring back the fans who played it on day one back in 2012. Was that when it was released, or was it 2013? Regardless, it was March of 2013, pardon me. Back in 2013, it still has the same fans. People want to play it. It was an enjoyable game. When it launched, it was incomplete. But now that I've played it since launch, and really recently, it is a complete game. It has DLC that you can fully download that is free. It has all these different modes you can play now. And I think that Respawn Entertainment got their feet wet with a new game. They really listened to community feedback. They changed the way the game was played. They really worked on some stuff and listened to what we had to say, because ultimately they want to be a game that people play not just for 1 month or 2 months or 3 months. They want it to be a yearly game that people play for years upon years, right? Because that's what Call of Duty 4 is, right? It's one of those games that people still play today. And it's not that Titanfall's not going to be a game that's not played for 6 years from now. It's the fact that they want consistent populations all the time. They want people to go back to it and talk about how great of a game it was. And Titanfall was a groundbreaking game, don't get me wrong. The first game you could run on walls. The first game where we really had boost jumps. The first game where mechs and ground infantry was put together seamlessly, and it really felt great. But it was the first installment. I think with Titanfall 2, they can really have a hit it out of the ballpark. But once again, I want it to be a niche market, that only certain players play this game. Only people that are really passionate about the series or really want this series to succeed are going to play this game. I hope it gets big, but I don't want it to be too big to the level of Call of Duty where we complain about every little thing and we become a toxic environment like what Call of Duty has become. For a lot of people, Titanfall 1 was an escape from Ghosts, and I don't want Titanfall 2 to be an escape from Infinite Warfare. I want it to be a game that people go to because they want to play a new game, because they want to play a game that's fun. Judging by what I've seen from the trailers and from the gameplay I've seen, looks completely different, feels completely different from the original one. It doesn't go too far away from it, but it will be a learning curve when we first play. Apparently, players play a little bit heavier, it is a little bit slower, but you have a grapple hook. Holy shit, did anyone else go nuts at the end of that fucking trailer when the guy grapple hooks the other guy when he falls out of his Titan? Holy shit, that shit was intense, and pardon my language, but that was freaking cool. And it makes me more and more excited for this game because of the fact that it's going to be Titanfall 2. It's going to be a game that they've said, we're working on this. It's not a game that gets pumped out every year. It's a game where they've had some time. They've sat down and they're like, we're going to make these changes to the game. And we're going to make this game better because of these reasons. And this is what we're working towards. Because that is what's important to them. You know, they didn't just throw out a rendition every year. The last time they released a Titanfall was when Call of Duty Ghosts was 6 months old. They're going to release another one, when Infinite Warfare is 6 months old, and that is great. I'm so excited to see what Titanfall is going to do. I'm so excited to see how everything works out. I can't wait to get my hands on it. But the truth of the matter is the fact that they incorporated a single player, which is something a lot of people had a beef with. They're like, oh, it's just multiplayer only. That's kind of shitty. Now that there's a single player, and it looks like they actually have a decent storyline, and I think they could have had a great storyline for Titanfall 1. They just never incorporated it in the game. So now that we have that opportunity that we're going to have a storyline in Titanfall 2, makes me extremely excited and extremely optimistic for what this game can achieve in 2017. Now, it's not going to be a COD killer or a Battlefield killer, but what it can do is it can stand alongside of those mecha giants of the FPS genre, right? It's going to be bigger than Halo, in my opinion. Halo 5, in my opinion, was a bust. But you look at a game like Titanfall, and it has the potential to be there because you have a group of people that actually are listening to community feedback, and they say, we know what you want. You don't want another Call of Duty remake. You want a Titanfall sequel. They understand that people in the community want a sequel. They don't want a Call of Duty rendition that is a Titanfall sequel. They want a sequel to Titanfall. And that is what is important to the community. It's not, let's see how close to Call of Duty we can be. It's how different can we be. And that's what makes this game so interesting, and that's what made it such an interesting venture back when it was released in 2013, because it was so different than anything else on the market. We didn't have Advanced Warfare at the time. We didn't have these other games. It might have actually been 2014, pardon me. But 2014, we didn't have these other ventures at the time where Advanced Warfare was out there. It went on its own. It's like, this is the way we see this game. This is how we envisioned it. This is how we want it to be. And that's what made Titanfall as good as it was, because it was different than what was out on the market. And once again, I still think it's going to be different, because it doesn't have the kill streaks. It has a different way of doing things than what we see in Call of Duty and Battlefield. And I think that's what makes it and sets it apart from current FPS games. As this commentary winds down, I just want to know what you guys think of Titanfall 2. Did you enjoy the first Titanfall? What was your first moment in that game if you ever did play it? And would Titanfall ever make you guys actually buy a console? Because I remember buying it. When Titanfall 1 came out, I went to the midnight release and bought that system, and it's still the same Xbox I use today. I still have the little brochure thing that I got with Titanfall, because it was a game that got me excited to buy a new system, and it was since then, I haven't been that excited for a game. Titanfall 2 makes me extremely optimistic of what we can see in the FPS genre, because I think a lot can be done, and I think a lot of success can come from this game, but it needs to be done right, and I think EA is going to do the right things to make it properly, and to make it the right way, and I think Respawn Entertainment's going to follow that, just their formula of making good games, because I think Titanfall was a good game, flawed, but good, and I think they've addressed some of the flaws and made it better for Titanfall 2. So hope you guys enjoyed the commentary. If you did, can you please leave a like? If you didn't, please leave a comment as to what I can change for the next time. If you want to see more from me, hit that subscribe button. Until next time, guys, just like that gaming, signing off. Peace.